while you're at it, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell button so you can get future notifications every time the roommates drop a new video. Enjoy watching, y'all. Now let's eat. Hey roomie, how you doing? If you're new, welcome. And if you've been here a while, then you know it's time for the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. So roomies, today I'd like to talk to you about a current event that happened this weekend. And I'm sure you all heard on the news about the 28-year-old lady, ATATIANA Jefferson, getting shot in her own house. Now this lady, all I think she was doing, her neighbor was suspicious about the fact that her front door was open from 10:30 at night to 2:30 in the morning. But she wasn't doing no harm. All she was doing was just playing video games with her 8-year-old nephew. And they just wanted to get a breeze in the house. So, and this happened in Fort Worth. So the Fort Worth police, the 34-year-old officer, Aaron Dean, when he showed up to her house, instead of knocking on the door, he goes creeping up to her window. And she went to the window because she had heard a noise, because she didn't know that the neighbors called the police. So she went to the window to see who was there. And the police officer didn't even announce that he was a cop. All he said was hands up, hands up. And they shot her. Now her 8-year-old nephew, he was going to go to the window to see who it was, but luckily she told him, she's like, no, stay here. I'll go check the window. When this happened, it had the nephew traumatized because seeing your aunt get murdered like that for no reason, that'll do something to you. And it's sad, you guys, about how the fact that the police department, how they train their officers. Because let me tell you, if this was in a white neighborhood that this happened, the police wouldn't have handled it that way. All I had to do is simply just knock at the door. Because if they knocked at the door, this girl would still be alive. Instead, the cop just creeps at the door, looks around and shoots. And me personally, I'm a white woman that lives in an all-black neighborhood, so I see the difference in the way cops are in a white neighborhood versus a black neighborhood. And honestly, it just disgusts me. It disgusts me about the fact that if you live in a black neighborhood, you can't even feel safe. Leaving your back door or leaving your front door open, or leaving any door open for that matter. And when I heard this, I was pissed beyond all recognition. Because a cop should not be able to fire like that. I mean, what if there were children in the house? I mean, more than one child. Because you know how kids are. Kids can be very nosy and want to know what's going on. What if that child didn't listen to her and had got up and went to the window? My question is, how would that cop have felt if he killed a kid? Now that child has to get counseling, trauma counseling. And he's sitting there thinking, that year-old boy was thinking, he was thinking like, shit, they could have got me. They would have got me if I went to the window. Because let me tell you, in a white neighborhood, cops wouldn't have did that. What they would have did is if the neighbor said, all the neighbor had to say was, I'm worried about my neighbor. Next door, her door has been open for 4 hours. And I was wondering if you guys could just go over there and check up on her, make sure she's okay. That's all the neighbor had to say. If it was me personally, I don't know. I don't think I would have called the cops on my neighbor. I think I would have just I mean, if I was that neighbor, not saying me personally, but I'm saying if I was that neighbor, put myself in her shoes. I would have just went there, knocked on the door, just to see if she was okay. I wouldn't have sent cops to her house just because her door is open. Honestly, I think that's the most ridiculous reason to call the cops on somebody, just because they left their door open. I would have went there just to see if she was okay. Now, it would be a different story. It'd be a different story if I heard gunshots at my neighbor's house. Then I would call the cops. But just because the door is open, I'm not going to call the cops. If I don't hear no gunshots or no fire, no screaming, and no reason to bring the cops into it, I think the situation would just handle completely wrong. And now because the Fort Worth Police Department did not train their officer the way they should have, people nowadays, they're not going to trust the police. They're not even going to want to call them. I just think it's terrible the way they train. I think it's terrible the way they train their officers. That they don't even train them to be civilized these days. And just go to the door, knock, and address who you are. Address that you're the police. and then wait for the lady to come to the door, or wait for whoever to come to the door, and question them first, instead of just pulling your gun out and attempt to fire for no reason just because you don't feel safe because the door is open. That's why you go there with backup, honestly. I mean, I give my full condolences to the family that lost ATATIANA Jefferson. She was young, and all she was doing was just babysit her nephew, and she ends up getting killed by a police officer due to a false alarm because the neighbor thought that there was something going on just because the door was open. Honestly, if you ask me, I think that was just bullshit how that happened. Hopefully after this incident, the police department reconsider the way they train their officers. Especially their white officers, because they just act like they're scared. They act like they're scared to go to a black household and knock on the door and introduce themselves. Like, honestly, if hypothetically, if I was a police officer, I don't know why it would be so hard to just calmly go to the door, knock on the door, and ask questions first before you make rational decisions. Now, I live in a black household. And we don't even call the cops because we don't trust them, especially in Chicago. They don't do their job right. I just think it's so unfair. About the fact that cops do not treat white neighborhoods or black neighborhoods the same way they would treat white neighborhoods. I think that they should just stop racially profiling and treat them with the same civilized attitude, black people, as they will with white people. Because they shouldn't just assume just because your skin color is different that you're most likely to be a criminal. They need to stop having the mind state that every dark complected person is a criminal. Just because you're in a neighborhood that looks run down. They should treat everyone with the same respect. Honestly, I wonder what the neighbor probably feels like. I'd like to know, what does the neighbor, hypothetically, like, what does the neighbor feel that he called the cops and had his neighbor killed over a suspicion? I wonder what he's thinking. Because if it was me, it would be eating me up alive inside. That my neighbor got shot just because I called the cops on them. I wouldn't even call the cops on my neighbors, honestly. I feel so sorry for the little boy that had to see his aunt murdered by cops for no reason, and how the family of this girl and what they're going through, of ATATIANA Jefferson. I know that, honestly, I think they all need to go to counseling, because this is going to be something that's hard to really, this is going to be hard for them to even, like, get over. I mean, they're not going to be able to get over this. Because all she was doing was just babysitting her 8-year-old, and this happened to her. I give my highest condolences to the family. I feel so bad for you guys, and I can't even begin to, like, understand what you're going through. But I know that if this happened in my family, I wouldn't even know. I would be in shock if a story like this happened in my family. So, roomies, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell button so you can get future notifications every time the roommates drop a new video. Thank you all for watching. Peace out, y'all. We love you. Remember to live, love, and laugh. Bye, y'all.